Good evening, Mr. Donatello.
Holy jumping cow.
Did I startle you?
Who are you?
I'm Natasha.
Oh, well, how do you do?
Do you think of yourself as
What, to be simple as they say, simple? I think that I like that very much.
Sophia Loren, the epitome of grace and beauty, has long captivated audiences with her stunning performances and timeless style.
This is the necklace my mother wore the night my father proposed to her.
But beyond the glitz and glamour lie fascinating stories and hidden details about her iconic wardrobe choices. What makes these moments so captivating? And how did Sophia Loren become a fashion icon in the film industry? Stick around as we explore these intriguing stories, including the style secrets that have defined her illustrious career.
In came this girl, tall, wonderful looking, very striking, and controlling. But I was terribly taken with her, and I was amazed by her presence.
Sophia Loren's ability to captivate audiences extended beyond her acting prowess, as her fashion choices often became iconic in their own right. Her wardrobe not only enhanced her on-screen presence, but also set trends and defined elegance for generations. In the film Arabesque, Sophia's character was known for her impeccable style. Her white dress in a pivotal scene became a symbol of elegance and sophistication, highlighting her character's intelligence and charm. This moment has become legendary among fans, proving that Sophia's fashion choices were as integral to her performances as her acting. Include clips from Arabesque to illustrate the scene. Sophia Loren's wardrobe choices were carefully curated to enhance her roles and reflect her character's personality. Designers often collaborated with her to create outfits that would leave a lasting impact on audiences. These collaborations resulted in timeless fashion moments that continue to inspire designers today. In addition to getting all glammed up, Sophia Loren's film career was a dazzling tapestry of unforgettable scenes and unforgettable performances. In the 1960s and 1970s, Sophia Loren's career soared to even greater heights, embracing an array of complex and iconic roles. The year 1961 was particularly monumental for her. Starring opposite Charlton Heston in El Cid, Loren solidified her position as an international star.
Why did you come, Rodrigo? Did you think the woman you chose to love could do less than you?
That same year, Loren delivered a performance of unparalleled depth in Two Women, portraying a mother fighting to protect her daughter amidst the chaos of World War II. Her raw and emotional portrayal earned her the Best Actress Oscar, a historic win for a non-English language film. Throughout the mid-1960s, Loren continued to captivate audiences with her versatility. In Lady L, she played a charming and manipulative widow opposite Paul Newman. The role marked a departure from her previous characters, but demonstrated her ability to infuse complexity and intrigue into her performances. During this period, she also graced the screen with Hollywood legends like Gregory Peck in Arabesque and Marlon Brando in The Night of the Following Day. Despite the star power involved, some critics felt these roles didn't fully showcase her talents. The 1970s saw Loren balancing her film career with family life, focusing on motherhood while still making select high-quality films. She earned critical acclaim for her role in Sunflower, an Academy Award-nominated film, and her final collaboration with De Sica in The Voyage. Loren also made a memorable appearance in the TV remake of Brief Encounter, where she displayed her romantic vulnerability to a wider American audience. In The Cassandra Crossing, a star-studded disaster thriller, Loren's sophisticated elegance left a lasting impression on viewers.
The children. The girl over there, what's her
Jennifer,
name?
stop it.
Katerina.
Stop it!
But how can I?
Stop it!
In 1977, Loren reunited with Marcello Mastroianni in A Special Day. Her portrayal of a lonely housewife who has a fateful encounter with Mastroianni's character garnered her the 7th David di Donatello Award and several international honors, proving her enduring appeal even as she took on fewer roles. As the 1980s and 1990s rolled around, Loren became more selective about her projects, shifting her focus to family and business ventures. She earned a Golden Globe nomination for her supporting role in Robert Altman's Ready to Wear and achieved significant commercial success with Grumpier Old Men, alongside Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, and Anne Margaret. Loren continued to work sporadically, including a role in Between Strangers, directed by her son, Eduardo Ponti. After a 15-year hiatus, Loren made a triumphant return to Hollywood in 2009 with Nine, directed by Rob Marshall, where she reminded audiences of her legendary screen presence and earned a Screen Actors Guild Award nomination for her supporting role. Even as she approached her 90s, Loren showed no signs of slowing down. In 2020, she delivered a critically acclaimed performance in The Life Ahead, directed by her son, portraying a Holocaust survivor caring for a young immigrant boy.
Non ci sta con la testa.
Rosa è un bambino.
This role earned her some of the best reviews of her 6-decade career. From Italian neorealism to Hollywood blockbusters and intimate international dramas, few performers can match Sophia Loren's versatility, longevity, and cultural impact. Her tumultuous personal life and relationships were often as captivating as her film roles, adding another layer to the legend of this extraordinary actress. Sophia Loren's rise to fame might seem like it started in a glamorous Italian palace, but the reality was far less luxurious.
You should have gone to Naples. I told you not to.
But I had to, Papa. And I won.
Born in 1934 with a hint of Italian aristocracy in her background, she didn't exactly have a fairy tale childhood. Her father, once a nobleman, was just a run-of-the-mill construction worker by then.
How do I know it's my baby?
What do you mean? Huh? What do you mean?
And let's just say, he wasn't winning any Dad of the Year awards. Riccardo Ciccolone might have fathered Sophia, but he had no intention of sticking around. He ditched Sophia's mom, Romilda Villani, and left them high and dry. Sophia barely knew him, meeting him only a handful of times in her life. Once she hit the big time, she had no interest in reconnecting with the man who abandoned her. But that's not where the drama ends.
Take it.
When Sophia was just a few years older, her parents had another child, Maria. But Riccardo still didn't want to be involved. In fact, he was so uninterested that he refused to even acknowledge Maria as his daughter.
The lovely Sophia Ciccolone!
It wasn't until Sophia became a star that she had to pay him off just to get him to admit Maria was his and let her use his last name.
Maria Ciccolone. Sophia, I love you.
So Sophia's early life was anything but charming. Growing up in the rough outskirts of Naples, her mother worked hard just to scrape by. Sophia was tall and skinny, and the local kids had a field day mocking her with the nickname, the Toothpick.
The skinny little girl has become a beautiful young woman.
Then came the turning point. One summer when she was 15, Sophia and her friends were in Rome and decided to check out the Miss Italia pageant. Out of the blue, a mysterious note appeared at their table. It was from Carlo Ponti, a judge at the pageant. Ponti took one look at Sophia and was captivated by her potential. He encouraged her to enter the contest. Most teenage girls would have been wary of a middle-aged stranger's attention, but Sophia was ready to prove everyone wrong. Her mother had always told her she was destined for stardom, and this was her big chance to show the world she was more than just the toothpick.
It was very normal for me to be as thin as that because we didn't have anything to eat.
15-year-old Sophia Ciccolone entered the 1950 Miss Italia pageant as Sophia Lazzaro. She had no experience. But when you're Sophia Loren, you don't need experience. She took home the title of Miss Elegance, second place to the Miss Italia crown.
You and I, we have plans, don't we? You are going to do something with your life, not throw it away on a man.
For a teenage first-timer, I'd say that was pretty good. But the beauty pageant was just the beginning.
I'm Carlo Ponti.
Mr. Ponti knows talent, Sophia.
Carlo Ponti had a major influence on Sophia Loren, and their lives would never be the same. Ponti wasn't just a judge at the Miss Italia pageant, he was also a powerful film producer. He quickly signed Sophia Lazzaro for some roles in his movies, but the changes didn't stop there. He decided to give her a new name, Sophia Loren.
You'll be Sophia Loren. I'll make out a contract for Sophia Loren.
With Ponti backing her, the sky seemed like the limit for the young starlet, but their relationship was far from straightforward. Despite the significant age gap between them, things between Loren and Ponti grew intense as she matured. Initially, Sophia insisted that their relationship was purely professional, but by the time she turned 19, things took a romantic turn. Their relationship quickly became more than just a fling. Sophia Loren envisioned a perfect future with Ponti, hoping for the stable family life she never had.
You're jealous of every good thing that happens to me. A man who cheats on his wife will cheat on you.
No. Carlo loves me, Mama. And I love him.
She was still haunted by her father's abandonment and yearned for a reliable partner. But Ponti had his own complications. Not only was Carlo Ponti about 2 decades older than Sophia, but he was also married with 2 children.
Do you have children?
2, girl and boy.
He was separated from his wife, but the situation was more tangled than it seemed. Divorce was illegal in Catholic Italy at the time, adding another layer of difficulty to their relationship. Though the perfect family Loren dreamed of seemed out of reach, she had other ambitions, including making it big in Hollywood. Sophia Loren was determined to build her own success. Between 1950 and 1955, she appeared in an impressive 35 films. The hectic schedule took its toll on her health. One night, she was hit with a severe panic attack, mistaken for asthma or pneumonia. The doctor quickly diagnosed it as a panic attack, the result of her overwhelming stress. From then on, she slowed her pace and avoided such grueling schedules. But it wasn't just work causing her stress. The exact moment when Loren and Ponti's relationship turned romantic is a bit unclear, but it deepened sometime between her teenage years and her 19th birthday. Ponti offered the affection and guidance that Sophia never received from her father. For Ponti, Loren was a rare gem. Even though their intense feelings stirred up controversy, they were both committed. When Loren turned 19, Ponti gave her an engagement ring. Though he was still married, they both understood what the ring meant. Sophia hurried to show her mother, who was far from enthusiastic. Her mother questioned why she would get involved with a man nearly 40 who was married and had children.
A man who cheats on his wife will cheat on you. Stop reading your failures into my happiness.
Despite her mother's worries, Sophia was undeterred. Sophia Loren began making waves in Italian cinema at just 16. Within a few years, Hollywood took notice and signed her to a 5-movie deal with Paramount Pictures. Loren was excited to meet stars she'd only seen on screen, but the real buzz came when Jane Mansfield made a dramatic entrance at her Hollywood welcome party. Mansfield's show-stopping arrival made headlines and left a lasting impression. Loren's Hollywood journey also led to her achieving the stable family life she had always wanted. Shortly after arriving in America, Ponti managed to divorce his wife in Mexico and marry Loren by proxy. Their complicated relationship seemed to find a resolution, and Loren finally got the family life she had dreamed of.
With this ring, I thee wed again.
However, things weren't as straightforward as they seemed. After filing for divorce, Ponti received unsettling news.
The Vatican Court hereby officially rejects your request for the annulment of the sacred marriage.
They thought they had cleverly sidestepped Italy's strict no-divorce laws, but instead found themselves branded as fugitives.
The Mexican divorce. The Vatican won't recognize it. We're not married.
Italian authorities warned that if they returned to Italy, they'd be arrested. Ponti for bigamy and Loren for concubinage. This forced Loren to keep their relationship hidden for years.
If you have to pay such a price to see your family and to see your niece and to see your own country and to have your smile back in your face, I think you can do it, even though you suffer very much.
Even after they married for real in France. Despite her deep feelings for Ponti, Loren's new life in Hollywood put her in contact with other famous figures like Frank Sinatra and Cary Grant. Sinatra was charming, but Grant came off as rude. Loren's career took off, and by 1964, she was making headlines for earning $1 million for her role in the fall of the Roman Empire.
But my love won't die.
Kill it.
You kill it!
Despite her success, she faced personal challenges, including miscarriages, which the tabloids eagerly reported.
This will be my 3rd miscarriage. It always happens in the 3rd month.
The media also scrutinized her marriage and rumored affairs, adding to her stress. In 1960, Loren had the chance to work with Clark Gable, a star she had long admired. At first, she was thrilled, but she soon discovered a different side of Gable. He often left work early, revealing a diva-like behavior that surprised Loren. Turns out, by 1960, working hard wasn't really in Clark Gable's contract. No matter what was happening on set, when his 5 o'clock bell went off, he hung up his hat and got out of there. Loren, who had spent the last decade working her behind off to establish herself, was less than impressed. But Clark Gable still wasn't as bad as Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was not exactly known for making a good first impression, and his initial encounter with Sophia Loren set the tone. He barged into her dressing room on the Paramount lot, took one look at the paintings she'd hung up, and told her bluntly, "You're sick, emotionally disturbed, you should see a psychiatrist." Not the best way to start a professional relationship, and it only got worse from there. Brando had a knack for crossing boundaries. Before a scene, he would come up close to Loren and stroke her back, despite her clear objection. She told him, "Don't do that, I don't like it." But as soon as the cameras were rolling, he did it again. Loren, clearly irritated, warned him she'd slap him if he touched her again. But Brando, like many old Hollywood stars, didn't take well to being told no. When Loren threatened him, he actually placed his hands on her. Loren, known for her fiery temper, exploded in Brando's face. "Don't you ever dare to do that again. Never again." And to his credit, Brando did back off, but their working relationship was strained. Brando talked about Loren behind her back, criticizing her breath because of the Italian food she ate, and even compared it to that of a dinosaur. Filming was tough for both of them, and when it came to their big kissing scene, Brando couldn't resist making it worse. Kissing scenes are awkward enough, but Brando added to the misery. After their first kiss, Loren pulled away, upset that Brando had whispered something unpleasant in her ear, something about long hairs growing out of her nose. On the third take, Brando escalated things further. He bit Loren's lips so hard that she started bleeding. No surprise that they never worked together again.
Then I can stay?
Stay. I can't get rid of you.
But even with all Brando's antics, Loren had a co-star who was even more unsettling, Peter Sellers. When Sophia Loren signed on to 1960's The Millionairess, the studio hadn't yet hired the male lead. They reached out to iconic British comedian Peter Sellers, but he wasn't at all interested. That is, until he learned that Sophia Loren was involved. That was all he needed to hear. As he put it, "I don't normally act with romantic, glamorous women." So he leaped at the chance to act with Loren. Even at just 25 years old, Sophia Loren must have been thrilled to hear that such a major star wanted to work with her on a movie. Little did she know what she was getting into. Loren and Peter Sellers initially got along very well during the filming of The Millionairess, and Loren believed their relationship was entirely platonic. Unfortunately, she was mistaken. Sellers became increasingly infatuated with her as time went on. Eventually, he couldn't hold back any longer. During an outing with Loren and his wife, he declared his undying love for Loren in front of everyone. Sophia Loren had no romantic interest in Peter Sellers and spent their entire time working together, deflecting his advances. But Sellers was relentless. One night, he even went so far as to wake his young son to ask him, "Do you think I should divorce your mummy?" This was an emotionally scarring question for any child, especially when Loren had no intention of being with him. To this day, the true nature of the relationship between Sophia Loren and Peter Sellers remains a mystery. Some of Sellers' friends, like comedian Spike Milligan, claim that the two had a physical relationship, while others insist they were just close friends. Even Sellers' wife was never certain about the truth, stating, "I don't know to this day whether he had an affair with her. Nobody does." For her part, Loren has always maintained that nothing happened between her and Peter Sellers, though she continued to fend off his advances for years.
Cary Grant, Sophia Loren.
Miss Loren. It's a pleasure.
Her relationship with Cary Grant, however, was more complicated. Sophia Loren first met Cary Grant at a Hollywood party with Frank Sinatra, but the encounter was almost as disappointing as her meeting with Marlon Brando. Grant arrived 2 hours late, and by the time he made an appearance, Loren had already grown impatient. When he finally approached her, his first words were a remark about how Italians all have strange names. Loren had expected the charming Cary Grant she saw on screen, not this tardy and rude man. However, first impressions can be misleading. Soon, Grant would make Loren question everything she thought she knew. Sophia Loren met Cary Grant at a challenging time in both of their lives. Grant was trapped in a miserable third marriage, while Loren's love for Carlo Ponti was complicated by the legal issues surrounding their union.
If you're a little toothpick from Pozzuoli and your leading man is Cary Grant, that's got something to do with a fairy tale. And so you're going to fall in love with Prince Charming.
The uncertainty of her future with Ponti left Loren contemplating whether he could ever provide the legitimate family she desired. Meanwhile, Cary Grant was, well, Cary Grant. Loren and Grant first starred together in the 1957 film The Pride and the Passion. Despite their rocky introduction, they grew increasingly infatuated with each other as they spent more time together. Sophia Loren was only 22 years old when her affair with Grant began. She still loved Carlo Ponti, but her future with him seemed uncertain. Meanwhile, Cary Grant was 52 and on his third marriage. To complicate matters further, Grant invited Loren to dinner one night, where he solemnly asked her to marry him.
Then you feel something for him?
I only know that my feelings for you haven't changed.
Loren's response was the only one she could give. "I don't know." Choosing between her two men was far from simple. The next day, she flew to Greece to work on another film. Upon arrival, she found a surprise: a bouquet of roses and a pale blue note that read, "With only happy thoughts." Inside was a heartbreaking letter. Cary Grant had a tendency to be intense. During his courtship with Loren, he favored grand gestures like sending her hundreds of flowers. This time, there was just a single bouquet and a note that read, "Forgive me, dear girl. I press you too much. Pray, and I will do the same. Until next week. Goodbye, Sophia Cary." Loren had to admit that Cary Grant was the complete package. He was a Hollywood star, but also so much more. She described him as wonderful, charming, handsome, and very romantic. He constantly showered her with gifts, flowers, and declarations of love, and he wanted her to be his wife. Perhaps he could provide her with the legitimate family she had always dreamed of. But it wasn't that simple. There was a downside to choosing Cary Grant. Loren wasn't choosing between Grant and some deadbeat. She still had Ponti, who loved her and supported her, and he was Italian. There were also optics to consider. Both Loren and Grant were married when they became involved, and Loren had seen how the press treated divorced women.
What's wrong with dancing with your leading man?
I wouldn't mind if it were on the screen, but not in a magazine.
She had witnessed the tabloids eviscerate Ingrid Bergman for leaving her husband. In the end, Loren knew which choice was right for her. Carlo was Italian. He belonged to my world. I know it was the right thing to do for me. Once their marriage's legal issues were resolved, Loren and Ponti remained happily together until Ponti's passing in 2007. As the years passed, Sophia Loren's star grew. At first, she was an exciting new actress. Then she was a movie star and a S symbol.
I think that by getting older, there's nothing to do with a symbol. I think a symbol, you are born a symbol or you are not. There's nothing to do with your age.
By the 1980s, she transcended again, this time to icon status.
Getting a second Oscar for your career and all that goes through in your mind, why did you get it, why did they give it to you, the ambition and the dedication and the sacrifices, I think it has been the most wonderful moment of my life.
She released the first of many biographies. She turned her life story into a biopic, where she played both herself and her mother. Loren even launched her own perfume, the first female celebrity to do it. There's a reason Sophia Loren still holds a mystique about her that no other star, past or present, has matched. All her contemporaries have one big disadvantage. They're not Sophia Loren. Anyway, Loren's approach to everyday life nowadays is simple. Enjoying time with family and long, leisurely walks, observing nature's beauty around her adopted hometown of Geneva. She tends to her garden, catches up on reading, and stays connected with her sister Maria in Italy through video calls. She says the beauty of her grandchildren fills her with joy, even though they remain far away in California. Despite being a living legend who has brushed shoulders with Sinatra and Grant, Loren stays grounded in relationships and life's small daily pleasures. After surviving the poverty of war-torn Naples as a child and achieving stardom against all odds, it seems Sophia Loren had finally triumphed over fate. But in reality, the worst was still to come. In September 2023, a mere week after celebrating her 88th birthday, Loren suffered a devastating fall in her Geneva home. She endured multiple fractures, including her femur, hip, and thigh bone, which required immediate surgery.
She called Carlo, who was on the set, and Carlo nearly fainted. He said, "Oh my God, I can't go through that again. Please, tell me it's not true."
It was a shocking event for her millions of fans worldwide who viewed the vivacious Loren as a pillar of strength and resilience. Her recovery would be intensive given the severity of the breaks. Moved by the multitude of well wishes, Loren released a statement thanking everyone for their love during this difficult chapter. The accident occurred shortly after Loren's dazzling appearance at the Venice International Film Festival at Armani's couture fashion show. She captivated the crowd while draped in an ivory pantsuit, oozing old Hollywood glamour. Little did her adoring fans realize that the icon would soon endure a harrowing health crisis, yet she faced the uphill recovery process with trademark grit and grace. Loren has confronted daunting obstacles her entire life, from growing up penniless in wartime Italy to overcoming language barriers in Hollywood. Now dependent on round-the-clock care, she found comfort in family and simple pleasures during her convalescence. In a statement several weeks post-surgery, Loren thanked everyone for their closeness and affection. She added that she was better, but needed to undergo rehabilitation and give herself a period of rest. Ever humble, she expressed more concern for how her accident impacted upcoming professional events. With multiple fractures at 88, even everyday living posed challenges. Yet Loren remained devoted to her craft. As 2024 unfolds, the world reveres Sophia Loren not only as a cinematic icon, but as a paragon of resilience. Though she continues recovering, Loren already contemplates future creative projects. She has never been solely defined by individual accolades or films. At the 2014 Academy Awards, she articulated her endless drive. The wartime child reflected that she was raised during the war, and the only thing they dreamed about was making it through the next day. She tried to use the miseries everyone was going through during the war to create something positive. Decade after decade, even carrying injuries that would exhaust far younger performers, Loren finds purpose through cinematic storytelling. time. Though Loren could have retreated comfortably into retirement decades ago, she nurtured her creative spark into her late 80s. When reflecting on her enduring fame, Loren asserts that it's not a matter of beauty, it's how she feels inside, how secure she is, and how happy she is. Indeed, the veteran performer acknowledges the realities of aging, from diminished mobility to a changing appearance. Yet the inner confidence and warmth that captivated moviegoers in her early days remain undimmed by time. Now a revered grandmother and still recovering from recent injuries, Loren views growing older with grace. According to Loren, when she looks in the mirror, she cheers for herself, prioritizing self-acceptance and contentment over chasing youth. Sophia Loren's career is a testament to the enduring power of talent and grace. Despite the challenges and controversies, she remains an icon of cinema, admired for her beauty, talent, and resilience. Her story continues to inspire new generations, reminding us all of the timeless allure of Hollywood's golden age. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.